Hello and welcome to another video of IB Mathematical Studies. This is a video that's intended to be viewed right at the beginning of the course. I'm not going to be talking about how the grading works or the internal evaluation. I'm going to be talking about the actual math content. So the first thing is what you should already know, and that's going to sound very basic to you. It's going to be able to know how to count, add, subtract, multiply, divide, use of fractions, decimals and integers, how to resolve an equation and move things around an equation, etc. And this is very important, just another one people get confused with, which is doing things in the right order of operation. And we're going to be talking about that later on. So, as a way to exercise this and check whether you actually remember how to do these things, I have put this little exercise here. So I encourage you to try to solve it, and the answer should be minus 0.72, and remember this little bar here is going to tell you that there's our recurring decimals. So it's going to be 0.72, 72, 72, 72, 72, 72, 72 to infinity, okay? So try to solve it without a calculator. You'll probably need a calculator when you get to the very end. It doesn't really matter. What's important is that you try to solve the equation and solve for x, and whether you get stuck at any point or you have any kind of trouble. That's really all you're going to need. That's all the prior knowledge that this is going to entail. So let's get started. Let's get started with something you probably have already seen, which is the number line. Now, the number line is just the fact that you can represent numbers on a straight line like this one here. It's very simple. Just put a line and just put little numbers and everything goes in between. It can be zoomed in, you know, like the distance between here and here is now between here and here. So we have zoomed in, and now we can see all the things in between. Or we can zoom out too. So between here and here is now between here and here. And so on. We can even like zoom out a lot, even towards infinity. So there's a lot of like numbers that can fit inside the number line, and it is an infinite line. And keep in mind, there's a lot of space for things in between, and that's what we're going to be talking about now. When we talk about the types of numbers, okay? So the natural numbers are the positive whole numbers. This is very important. You have to remember they have to be positive and they have to be whole. But that doesn't mean that if it looks kind of funny, it's not a natural number, because look at this one here. This is a very big number, but it's still a positive number and it's still a whole number. It doesn't have decimals. So natural numbers are like the ones in this list here, okay? And we can have them in the line. 6 is a natural number, 9 is a natural number, but 0 is not a natural number. Integer numbers are the same as natural numbers, but we now have the negative ones, and 0 is now included also. We represent them with a z, which is the least obvious of the ways of calling the types of numbers. And here you have the same example, and here we have one that's not an integer, which we're going to be seeing in the next group, and that's going to be the rationals. And the rationals are integers plus the fractions, okay? And remember, recurring decimals, we see another one here, that those are obtained by fractions, okay? For example, 80 divided by 33 is 2.42, where 42 is a recurring decimal. Remember that if you ever did like 1 divided by 3, you would find out that this is also a case that you probably remember of a recurring decimal. So we can plot this also on the line, but do we have all the numbers in the line? We don't. We're still missing some. We're missing numbers like pi, we're missing numbers like square root of 31. So what are those numbers? Those are the irrational numbers, okay? Like square root of 2, square root of 7, pi, e, etc. Okay? Once we have the rational numbers, we have all numbers of the line, okay? And these are the real numbers, which include the naturals, include the integers, include the rationals, and include the irrationals. And once we have the real numbers, and this is very important, and you're going to be having to think about this a lot, we have all the numbers of the number line. So whenever we're graphing functions, whenever we are looking at something where we have a line with the numbers, which is the number line, then we're going to be using it a lot for graphing functions. We're going to be putting two number lines, one for x and one for y. So whenever we have that, we're going to be talking about real numbers all the time, because that's what's going to be represented on the actual line. It's going to be real numbers, because real numbers are all the numbers on the line. That's all. Thank you very much for watching.